What's up, YouTube? So we're going to go back and talk about flipping Forex accounts. This topic has been brought up to my attention countless and countless of times. And so I'm going to go back to the PowerPoint that I originally made. I want to say back when I first started. But I want to say this was redone last year, I believe. So if anybody's interested in wanting this PowerPoint file, you can email me. I'm at Gmail, at Traders at Gmail. If not, you could Telegram me. It'll be faster for Telegram because I'm always on Telegram and my service is on Telegram. So if you Telegram me, I could send you this file. Now, what I want to talk about is that you got to have the mindset in flipping an account because it is high risk involved and it's really aggressive trading because it's a high risk reward. But you got to remember that people are looking at the high risk and the high reward, but they're forgetting that they understand mentality that you could lose a lot more or blow the account. So that is something you always should have that in the back of your mind when you're trying to flip an account, right? Especially if you're starting with $10, $20, $100, or even 500 or 1,000, and your goal is to capitalize and maximize the amount of profits within that day, within the week, or within a 30-day turnaround. I don't try and flip an account past more than 30 days. Reason being is because when you come into a new month or a new monthly chart and or a new trend setup, then it gets kind of, I don't want to say that, you got to be careful when trend starts to reverse, and when reversals hit, you're going to lose more money. So I'm not going to talk about identifying reversals, but as far as it comes to flipping an account, I don't try and flip an account. Like I said, I don't try and flip an account for more than 30 days. The best way to flip an account is during tax season. That's the easiest way I can say it. Tax season from February, March, April, and then that's it. That's the reason why tax season is the best time to flip an account. It is the most volatile session. It's the best time, the best times throughout the whole day to scalp the markets with high lots. Like I'm talking about like using mini lots and close to using one standard lot. So with that being said, I'm going to run in through this PowerPoint again. This PowerPoint presentation was given out 2 years ago, and I'm just going to repeat some of the stuff, but I'm going to talk about some of the new stuff if you plan on using price action and candlesticks with naked forex. The reason why I haven't been really talking about flipping with naked forex is because that's something that I've been teaching in my personal paid group. So scalping on 1 minute chart, 6 to 8 hours straight. Now this is something that I was doing back then in 2017 when I flipped that account to 26,000 starting with 350. I focused on USD JPY. USD JPY is by far the best scalping pair that I like versus trading Euro USD. If you compare USD JPY with Euro to the dollar, right? Dollar to the yen, Euro, and Euro to the dollar. USD JPY is an all universal base around pair. And trading Euro has the lowest spreads, but compared the spreads to USD JPY, very competitive. And these two currency pairs have the lowest spreads. That's why I talk about trading USD JPY more than trading Euro to the dollar. So that's another thing to pay attention to. Forex brokers, offshore brokers. That's where it's going to come down to. No regulated broker is going to give you that kind of leverage if you want to flip an account or be a high risk trader. You got to use an offshore broker, at least preferably with a leverage of 1 to 500, or I've seen FX Glory does like 1 to 3,000, but I don't use them. I'll be honest, they're not the best unregulated brokers to go with. The ones I would go with would be LMFX or Traders Way. They offer 1 to 1,000 leverage max, and then they start restricting the leverage once you get an account to a certain balance. So just something to think about when you flip the account to like 10,000. Traders Way is going to restrict your 1,000 leverage back down to half of that, which is like 1 to 500. So just something to think about how offshore regulated brokers work on leverage here. They're not going to give you the maximized leverage if you have $100,000 account or $1 million account. It doesn't work like that. So they have set restrictions on leverages for certain account balances. So just something to look into the terms, conditions, and disclaimer of how the offshore unregulated brokers work. Always focus, like I said, always focus on your entries and exits within 5 to 7 minutes, especially looking at the 1 minute chart. And if you really like to scalp off the 1 minute chart, which I don't use anymore, this is something that you have to look into, anticipating every 5 to 7 minutes, catching 3 to 6 pips. You might be able to catch 10 to 15 pips if you go into the 5 and the 15 minute chart. Now, that really comes down to your preference on what charts you like to use. If you are not if you can't focus on a 1 minute chart, then what makes you think you can focus on the 5 minute and the 15 minute? And the reason why I say that is because a lot of people talk about scalping the markets, but do they have that level of focus of scalping the markets for themselves on a daily basis? See, that's another thing that you should talk to yourself about, not to me or other traders. Okay? Because we don't control your actions and your decisions, and we don't know what kind of mentality you have when you come into the markets. You got to have the prepared mindset. You got to prep your mindset if you plan to scalp the markets nonstop throughout the day or throughout the night. And that's what I did. I sacrificed my time to learn to scalp on my own. Yes, I blew a lot of accounts, but that was my learning. That was my learning curve. That was my experience that I gained. That's something that I wanted to do for myself. And I was willing to lose money to learn. Not a lot of people are willing to lose money to learn. So just something to think about that. Indicators. These are the three indicators that I used back then in 2017 when I flipped the 350 to 26,000. The moving average was a 10 SMA simple moving average. The RSI is the relative strength index, using 30 as oversold and 70 as overbought. You can see this in the picture right here. And then the MACD. It was all default settings. That's what it says right here. So when people are asking me what settings did I use, it clearly states on the title, default settings. I never understood on customizing the indicator settings at all. I just left it at default, and I just went with the same time frame, especially when it comes to scalping off the 1 minute. It gets a little bit crazy. Yes, it gets a little bit hectic because you're focusing on indicators and you're also focusing on the main window, which is price action candlesticks. So if I were to go back, I would not use any indicators and I would go strictly naked Forex using price action and candlesticks. That's it, the main window. Reason being is because top professional traders use price action and they talk a lot about price action. If you look at the price, every price has either are they building a support or they're building resistance. Whether it's support or resistance, you're looking at the highest price that's trying to break on or the lowest price that's trying to break below. With given the price structure, there's a candlestick structure, price structure and candlestick structure. Now, obviously, what I want to talk about is that right here, right? Let's not look at our side. Let's look at price structure with this. You can see that that this is the lowest and this is the highest price. So how do you indicate lows and highs? Well, you gotta stretch and zoom out so you know what time frame you're looking at. If you're looking at the 1 hour and you zoom out, you get a chance to see what's happening within New York sessions, back to London sessions, right? Within 2 sessions, you get a chance to see what was the peak of the highest price and the peak of the lowest price, and there you have a price range. And that way you can go off, okay, is there a trend that's continuing? If there is no trend continuing, then we're looking at what? Consolidation. So that's the most easiest way I can simplify, especially about using naked Forex. Charts on scalping. Now, obviously, these are just charts that I got off the internet. Now, I used to have Bollinger Bands. I don't use it anymore. It just gets too confusing. When there's an uptrend or a downtrend on a Bollinger Band and it just keeps continuing riding the trend, There's no point you using Bollinger Bands anymore. Okay, you're better off using moving averages. The reason why I like using moving averages is that if you tie the 7 and the 14, or not the 10 and the 20, when they cross, then that's a confirmation. So kind of like how Dolphin Trader has his crosses right here. How these, see, he has three. He has a 12 exponential moving average. That's what the E stands for. A 26 exponential moving average and a 55 simple moving average. And here's another one where he shorted right here, caught 15 pips and came back and ride the wave back up and caught another 15 pips. This was on USDJPY on the 1 minute chart. So having to understand, like, say, you got to understand why you're using indicators. That's the most important thing if you plan to use indicators. If you don't understand what your primary, secondary, or maybe your third indicator is, then you're going to be off the charts, over analyzing and over focused on nothing because you don't know what you're confirming on. A lot of people talk about indicators, but yet they don't even understand what indicators mean for them. You got to know what your confirmations are. If you don't know what your confirmations are, then why are you using these indicators? Just because you watch me or you watch some other trader talking about how good these indicators are, and you don't understand what these indicators do for you, take them off because you're not understanding for yourself. A lot of people talk about these indicators for themselves because they understand what it means to them, and that's their confirmation. But if you go ahead and try and do exactly how they're doing it, you're going to just get caught off guard and you're just over analyzing everything all over the place and you're losing more money and you're trying to do revenge trading, which does not help out at all. So I know this might be a long video. Stacking on the 1 hour. I like stacking, not on the 1 hour, but stacking on the 4 hour and the daily is where it's at. And so, like I said, this is old PowerPoint. So I'm just adding some new stuff in here. Why the 4 hour and a daily? The 4 hour and a daily is where it's at for stacking and swinging on the trends, because you can ride that trend for what, 3 to 5 days, or for the whole week. Like when I flipped that 250 to 1500 from April 6th to April 13th, that was a whole week of swinging, stacking 80, 90 positions on micro lots and holding it out. Obviously, is that recommended for a new trader? No. But if you really want to dive in and be just like how I trade, then you gotta do it on a live account. A lot of people talk about demo account. Guess what? I didn't even trade a demo account when I started. So just something to look into. It, no matter what, is always a lesson learned, paid education, whether it's a loss or win. That's the easiest way I can say it. No matter what, you're paving your way through and learning and gaining the experience. You really want to be a high risk trader, you gotta go ahead and you gotta go do, not, I like to say, you can do what I did. I don't want nobody repeating the same mistakes that I did, but I did enough mistakes to where I learned to grow mentally, not physically, to grow mentally and to build the emotional intelligence behind all that. So some people can't handle losing money. Well, then you're never ever gonna make more. Let's be honest. I'll be honest about that. So stacking on a 1 hour, like I said, I would prefer, to me right now, I would prefer the 4 hour and a daily on stacking. And this is what I like right here, the long-term, daily, weekly trending. When I see, like I said, this is just an example of a chart here. Now, obviously, you don't really see a trend here. It's just they're just highlighting, looks like a W, right? And they're just highlighting, these pin bars right here on the daily chart. Obviously, that's not trend, but what I'm trying to outline is that since these are daily candles, then you want to ride it at the very top to go down, right? And then when it builds support, then you ride it back up, and then when it creates the same resistance, it doesn't break. Like I said, if it doesn't break previous high, then you're back to selling it. And then how these two, that's a zone that there is no point swinging and stacking because you're going to lose more money. You're better off doing short-term trading all at the 1 hour and 4 hour. There's no point looking at the day like this. Now, If you really want to dive dive even more, then get into the weekly chart and the monthly chart of swinging and stacking, like what I did, 80, 90, 100 open positions. And you're gonna ride that thing out for like 2, 3 weeks, or maybe even the whole 30 days. It gets a little bit tense and it breaks your patience, but it builds your swinging patience. That's what I'm saying. It builds the way you swing trade, because you got to build patience when things are not going the way you anticipate. If you feel like it's not going to come back to that trade or to that position of where you bought or sell, then get out and take the loss. Some people don't know when to take losses, so they think that's going to come back. Not a very good idea if that's what you plan on doing. Stacking on trends. Yep, 4-hour chart. Talk about the 4 hours. By far the most critical chart to pay attention to. And then, like I said, follow the price action on each section. Follow the price action in each session. Each session has the highs and lows. Each price gives you support and resistance. Every candle that closes has a price. So everything that I just said relates back to price action. I'm going to say that one more time, right? Every session has a price of a high and low, right? You can do it on a 4 hour to 1 hour. You can highlight the high and the low of each session. New York, London, Tokyo. Daily highs and daily lows are really crucial to pay attention to, especially if you plan on finding spotting a trend and where reversals might happen. So another thing to look forward to, right? Every candle has a price when they close. So everything that I just said relates back to price action. Nothing so far from what I've traded so far in my 3 years, nothing has beaten price action. That's the easiest way I can say it. Do I plan on having a price action course? No, because I've been giving out a lot of my secrets in my paid group. So I don't plan on uploading that here on YouTube. Price action requires, like I said, price action requires a lot of focus to the main window, and where you have to understand why price is being driven on supply and demand, and also where price is subjected to be bound to rebound, like bouncing back up from support or bouncing back down from resistance where price is rejected. So really comes down to what you want to do here. Now, red news, high impact trading. I have flipped accounts trading NFP, trading some high impact news like interest rate decisions. And so, can you make money trading high impact news? Of course you can. Anticipating the event, that's what the most important thing is. Anticipating the news event that's going to get released. I've lost a ton of money over high impact news in the beginning of my first year of trading in 2017. But I never gave up on trading, because that was where I made most of my money in the beginning when I was flipping some small accounts. So I never understood the fundamental side. I always like reading Forex news because it gives me, that confirmation of looking at where I want to anticipate trading these high impact news. So yes, you can flip just on news, but you can lose more because you're just anticipating on one event. So it could whipsaw you. Most of the news I've seen right now are not really as volatile as they used to be. And also that I see a lot of whipsaw going around with most of these high impact news, especially the red news. So just something to think about. I'm going to come back here. So this is the last page, right? So, sorry, I think okay. So I'll leave it at this, things to remember when flipping the Forex account. Like I said, I'm not going to read this, but you got to know what your intentions are when you want to flip a Forex account. You got to understand the high risk and the possibilities of losing money or blowing the account when you're flipping an account. A lot of people just look at making a lot of money right away. It doesn't work like that. If flipping was easy, everybody be doing it, right? That's what I'm saying. Not every day you can flip an account. There are days where you can't flip an account and you have to sit back and watch the markets. So there are days that pairs are just consolidating. There are days that nothing's happening because it might be a holiday week. There are days that, maybe it's winter time. Winter time is the worst time to flip an account. I can't stress that enough. Winter is the worst time to flip an account. There's nothing going on within November and December. Now, obviously, for this November, we got the presidential campaign going on. So we might see some crazy volatility, what's going to happen to spark up for the 2021 of tax season. But other than that, nothing really happens during wintertime anyways. You gotta know your limits, right? You gotta know your limits and your mentality of focus and attention to detail and staring at the screen. If you don't know what your level of focus is, you're not gonna get any further in trading because you're just trying to anticipate when the markets are hot. A lot of people want to jump in when the markets are hot. A lot of people talk about, well, whoa, the market's so hot right now. I want to get in, right? And what I mean by that is that a lot of people see the volatility, it's so high, and the volume is so high. People are getting in, getting out, and the market's moving so fast. And people are like, oh man, I got to buy right now. I got to sell it right now. That's just excitement. If all you're doing is getting in for the excitement because you see a lot of fast paced movements, there's no point. You're going to lose more money. If you're that excited when the market is hot or moving so fast, focus on scalping, not swinging. We all love it when the markets move fast. But guess what? A lot of people lose money when the markets move fast because they can't anticipate what the next direction is going to be. So I'm just going to leave it at this. If you want this PowerPoint, I don't mind giving it out for free. Like I said, I've been giving it out for a while now. So like I said, it's just an updated talk version, not an updated PowerPoint version, but I updated, my analysis on price action, naked Forex candlesticks here, and some time frames that I really like to trade for. So other than that, like I said, I'm just gonna keep making content and create a positive role model here for the trading community. And I'm sick and tired of seeing all the haters and doubters they're just trying to bash everybody else. I'm sick, and like I said, I'm just gonna do me. I want people to see my success. Like I said, I want to see your guys' success. But like I said, you can't stop the negativity and toxic people behind you. No matter what, I don't really don't care what they gotta say. Like I said, I'm gonna keep doing myself because nobody's gonna pay my bills. Nobody's gonna make me successful. Guess what? I'm gonna do it. And you have to look at that in yourself in the mirror every single day because no one's gonna give you that kind of success. Success is never handed to you. I'll be honest right now. You want that? You want success that bad? You gotta go out there and get it. So, but tell you what, bashing people ain't gonna solve anything. So other than that, peace, guys.